में I would like to quote in हिंदी, भारत में स्टोरी बहुत दिखती है because the amount of, सबने यहाँ पे शार्क टैंक देखा होगा, the amount of time शार्क टैंक इंडिया में स्टोरी टेलिंग पे दिया जाता है, राइट फ्रॉम द बिहाइंड, कि आप किस बैकग्राउंड से आते हो, आप दोनों में रिलेशन क्या है.
Welcome to this episode number 4. I am Apeksha, your host, and today we have with us a mentor who is just 20 years old and has 5+ years of corporate experience, a student, advisor at International Business Club, head marketing club. She loves organizing events. She is also a content creator. She is a public speaker. She has taught more than 12,000 students, and the list goes on. Riya, thank you so much for joining in here and sharing your experience with us. Would you please give a brief about yourself to our listeners, like from where you are and what currently you do?
Okay, thanks, Apeksha, first of all, for having me and for those
Pleasure's all
lovely
mine.
words of the introduction. So as you all know, my name is Riya Gadhwal, and pretty much Apeksha has covered a lot of things. Just a clarification and just an editing to what she said. I was the marketing head of the college. I have recently graduated, so that goes cut off. But other than that, I think the formal introduction has already been given. Along with that, love reading books. I love marketing. And right now, currently, I am working on my two of the startups, which I pretty much can't tell you a lot of details because of few of the policies. And
Okay.
I'm also working in my dad's firm, and I will be completing 5 years for that.
Oh, great. Great, Riya. Okay. So the very first question that comes to my mind is how at the age of 20 years you managed to gain this many years of corporate experience, and was there any kind of pressure to start working at early age or just started working out of your own interest to get industry exposure?
I think so. I remember when I posted this on my LinkedIn that I got a 5 year of experience in corporate. Everybody spammed my comment section with bold letters that were you forced? Was there any economic problem or something like that?
Correct, correct.
A big no. Luckily, I come from a very certain good economy background that I wasn't forced to work. And it was just like after my 10th, I got good marks, and my school was very supportive related to if you're going ahead with other extracurriculars. You just have to get good marks in your school, and you have to be very active in your school activities and all, and you have to be very active. Along with that, you can go ahead with taking offs from the school and balance the attendance. And I was also the vice head girl and the head girl of my college in 2 consecutive years, which helped me to take a little bit of the advantage of that and
Correct.
attendance. And I started working in my dad's firm when I was in my 11th grade. A lot of people might have a question that okay, she is working in her dad's business, that means she just have to walk in the cabin and she gets to sit and she gets to be the part of one of the most topmost managerial roles. No, it was not like that. I have worked like an intern. It's actually the other way around. I remember there was a proper strict code that okay, you have to go straight in at 9 a.m. sharp, and you have to come back by an entire 9 hour shift. And I remember there were a lot of times, because if your work member is at your home, your dad might, I remember there was this one time when he came to my room and then he said it was around 6 in the morning, and he was like, "Wake up! I need this work to be done right now because this work was supposed to come in like in the evening 6, but it got preponed, so you have to go and go to the office." So I
Right, right.
remember that. So there's a lot of drawbacks as well.
Okay.
And then after my 12th, COVID happened. Um, COVID was, I think, one of the peak moments of my entire life, and I have learned a lot. I have developed a lot as a person. Certainly, there were a lot of issues, there were backstabs. I lost a lot of people who were very close to my heart. But I think the one thing that always kept me going is, rather than you crying about it, or just doing nothing and you're just watching binge watching on Netflix, I think that will not mean sense. So I think
Correct.
I remember, and I even have posted on my link, which got pretty great views and lovely answers, lovely comments, I meant, that I used to only sleep for 2 to 3 hours per day in the entire lockdown. So
Oh,
entire, like, that one
okay.
and a half years.
Mhm.
I remember, I think my mom and my dad will watch this YouTube video maybe, and
Yeah, yeah,
so
sure,
they
sure.
remember that. So they remember that and all thanks to my parents and my sister and my little brother, who have been very supportive throughout this journey, because I remember I used to rush to take a bath, and I used to say to my mom that, Mom, if an unknown number calls and it's anything related to the work, just give me a call. I'll be very quick. So I remember not taking care of myself at all for that period of time. Whereas my college started, and at that time, because I was one of the most unluckiest batch of 2020, where we were not given that, okay, were the boards gonna continue, because I had my last exam left.
Okay.
Like every student who was from the commerce background, they aspire to go into the top, Delhi universities, and the top MBA, like the BBA colleges like Symbiosis, the NARC, IPM. So
Right.
everything was come down at the same point. So um, there were a lot of that thing going on. My college have started from 9 to 5, and if anybody from Symbiosis was watching here, or who aims to go to Symbiosis, bro, you would actually enter into a corporate. It's not just a college, which is one of the best things I like about my college, that it trains you for the corporate world next.
World as well. Okay.
So I think that period helped me a lot to become a better person. Um, so I think working on that, so in that way, because I've started working very earlier, it
Very early,
had
yeah.
their pros, it had their cons.
Correct,
So this
correct.
is how I was able to gather a 5 year of experience. My 5 year experience will be done in around January, February. So I'm
Okay.
still on the way.
Okay, great. Awesome, Ria. Uh, you are also involved in HPAIR Howard conference. Ria, many of them are not aware about what it involves. Would you explain our viewers what is HPAIR? What is included in such conference and who all can participate in it?
Okay, so even I was not aware of this conference. It's called HPAIR conference, which is organized by
Okay,
Harvard University, and everybody knows the level of Harvard and the
correct.
importance of the Harvard word in their CV.
Absolutely.
So I had this. So I was very active on LinkedIn. So I used to always post of people, or they are selected in HPAIR. They have done their HPAIR. So I remember when I turned 18, I had this entire list, and on my every single birthday, I write a letter to myself uh, after
Okay.
the completion of the entire day. And this ritual I've been doing since I was in sixth grade. I have all the letters written.
Oh,
So
nice.
at that time, I had this very big written when I was 19 of age, that, when I'll be completing my 20th, I would want to have these many universities on my CV, which included from IIM to Stanford to Harvard to PUs to DUs. And luckily, I was able to get all
Great.
by the end of that time on my CV. And talking about HPAIR, so basically the entire, okay, I'll start from the basics because there are a lot of people who will watch this who don't know about what HPAIR is. So
Correct, correct.
HPAIR, the entire full
Even
form
I don't
of
know.
Harvard College.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead with that portion step by step. So the entire full form of that is the Harvard College Project for Asian and International Relation.
Okay.
And I think it was founded back in around 1992 or 1991. And it is a kind of a program or is kind of a place where a lot of students, lot of professional comes in to discuss about the different topics. It can vary from politics to geopolitics to economic topics and specifically the social problems that are evolving around. And there are a lot of top class leaders that come up. I remember when I was looking forward to their site for more information. I was able to see that one of the speakers there was Priyanka Chopra. There was the former Prime Minister of Australia. There was the former Secretary General of United Nations, which caught me eyes because at one point of time I used to do a lot of MUNs. MUNs were part of my entire day. So
Great.
that is it. And there's also one more thing to HPAIR that there are a lot of case comms which happen. And I think along with that, when you network with a lot of people, when you participate into them or when you are participating in such a big conference, you go ahead with lot of great people from across the globe, right? Because
Right.
you'll have to go ahead with an entire process. I'll be telling you the entire process soon. So there's
Okay.
a lot of entire process which happens and then you get
Mm-hmm.
filtered. So all the
Mm-hmm.
people who are actually coming there are the top brains of the entire world. So can you imagine the amount of networking plus the amount of discussions you will
Absolutely
have? The quality of discussion you'll have with them is absolutely amazing.
amazing,
So
inspiring for
I
sure.
love networking. Exactly. I love networking. So that was one of the reasons that why I really wanted to participate in such a conference. And I remember, so I'll tell you the step first.
Mm-hmm.
So there is usually
Okay.
the website of HR where you have to go ahead and, log in with your credentials. You have to make an account in that.
Okay.
And then you have to go ahead with uploading of your resume. And there are around 4 to 5 questions that you have to answer. So they can vary from tell us about yourself or who is the one speaker you would like to choose if you are selected,
Mm-hmm.
and tell us about they'll give you a situation and you'll have to tell that if you would have been in that situation, what would you have written down.
Okay.
So such questions also come, like one of the basic skills, which is I think which should be there in every exam or every forum you apply for, because it definitely shows what would you have been done. Because in the end, we are talking about a lot of issues in such conferences. So you'll have to you should be asked
Mm-hmm.
that at the first step of the entire process that okay, if you would have been that leader in the other side of the table, what would you have.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the first step is uploading resume. Along with that, you have to go ahead with the questions. And once your application is filled, so this is a normal application which you fill. But if you're going ahead with the scholarship one, which is I think it goes ahead with the first level, like even before the first level
Mm-hmm.
of the normal applications which goes around. So in scholarship, you also there is a two forum which you have to fill, like two forms which you have to fill, which comprises of something like the entire expense that you
Okay.
would have to go ahead with if you are are welcome to the conference. So
Okay.
suppose if the conference happens to okay, so the conference there are two conferences which happen in the entire year. One is HPAIR Harvard Conference, which
Mm-hmm.
goes ahead with in the Harvard University
Mm-hmm.
in USA, and the another one
Okay.
is it happens in any of the countries of Asia Pacific regions. So
Okay.
last year, it's very honored for me to say that India was the one who delegated it, and Delhi was
Okay.
chosen as the reason. This year, the Asian one is happening in the Hong Kong. It's in the August, as far as I remember.
Okay.
So uh, if the conference is happening in Delhi and you're also from Delhi, so the amount of expenses will definitely be very less as compared to the person who's traveling all the way from USA.
Mm-hmm.
So side by side, they ask you in the second form, they ask you why do you want, if you're going ahead with scholarship, what is the basic reason? So they'll ask you 10 number of questions, right from how many members are there in your family, how is the economic condition, and they're gonna cross check it with few of the documents like.
Okay.
So it's a very tedious process if you're filling for the scholarship, and it's very tough for you to get a scholarship if it is not happening in your um, in your country.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure how this entire process goes, how you
Mm-hmm.
are being selected for scholarship, but I truly feel that being a person who have organized a lot of events, I know how
Yeah,
this entire finance works. So I
correct.
think if you are somebody who is a country, let's say from India, and the
Mm-hmm.
um, um, and the conferences of the Harvard, the HPAIR Harvard, the Harvard
Mm-hmm.
one. So
Okay.
definitely the expenses will be more of you. So there are, there are slight of the chances that they will give you 100% scholarship.
Okay. Okay.
So that is it. And once your entire, the entire forms is filled, if you're filling for the scholarship, or if you're normally applying, you apply for it, and there is this one button that says that thank you for submitting your application, you will be notified when your application is reviewed.
Okay.
There where then you will get a message on your mail that you have been selected. If you are selected for the next round, you would be asked for an interview, and you would be asked to schedule an interview according to what time that suits you. So there are a lot of time because the team members are selecting the interviewees.
Mm-hmm.
So the time hours are very odd, like 3 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning. So luckily, I was able to choose the slot which was of 8 a.m. in the morning, which was pretty
Okay.
decent time because I had a college class starting at 8:30. So
Right.
you have to, and the entire interview process happens. And after the interview, if you are very lucky,
Mm-hmm.
I got very lucky that I got my result in the next 3 days. It can vary from 3 days to even 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
So then you are asked that, okay, your result is out. You can go ahead and check your profile, log into your credentials, and then I got to know that, okay, I was in. So this was the entire process of getting into Harvard, right from what Harvard is and how you can apply for Harvard. And anybody can apply for Harvard. There's no such criteria that, okay, you know what, this you are a person who's 40 years age, so you can apply. I don't think so they have any criteria like that. So
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. Awesome, Jia. You are a student, a mentor, advisor, creator, a coach, and the list goes on. How do you manage all of them? Do you sometimes feel exhausted or just go with the flow? And what are those key elements required to manage it?
I think it is very tedious task. So today only, like I saw the story of another creator. He's a friend of mine, and he
Mm-hmm.
wrote that there are n number of ways to earn money or to guide people, and
Mm-hmm.
creators like us choose everything rather than getting a straight way.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me it has been a really tedious task, especially when I right now when I talked about my COVID period,
Correct.
because I saw my friends putting
Mm-hmm.
stories, chilling at nights, watching tons of movies,
Yeah.
finishing great shows like Friends. And right now, I'm in a zone where I've not watched Friends, where
Mm-hmm.
I've not finished one of the top most reviewed Netflix series because I never got time.
I
You
know.
know, there are a lot of you're
Yeah.
gonna feel a lot of FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be why your life is not so easy. But I
Correct.
think are given a responsibility, there all these things will come with their time. So this
Mm-hmm.
weekend as well, I had 3 events on the same day. Luckily,
Okay.
one of that got preponed, so
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the luck factors. But it would be so exhausting for me that I have to cover 2 events at the same time. The timings are also same.
Correct.
So
Correct.
there's a lot of exertion that goes ahead with because
Mm-hmm.
the meeting timings clash, and you
Mm-hmm.
cannot choose one because both of them are your priority. And at the same time, because I also teach kids, and there
Right.
are a lot of times that they call up, suddenly in the evening, and there might be a time that
Mm-hmm.
you have just gotten out of a meeting and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't go well because
Mm-hmm.
things don't go according to your way, and
Correct.
you
Correct.
have to also attend the kids call,
Right.
and those what, sixth, seventh, eighth, like sixth, seventh grade. So you can't
Mm-hmm.
shout at them. I will
Mm-hmm.
never shout at. So, you have to
Yeah.
be for a second. You have to take a deep breath. That okay, we'll deal with it later. First, that can be. So I think that
Uh,
it's a lot things. There are a lot of times where I have slept at 5 a.m. in the morning and I have a
okay,
meeting
that
at
was my
7.
next question. That do you still sleep 2 to 3 hours only?
Luckily, right now
Mm.
I've been getting good sleep of good 5 to 6 hours. I am very I am very happy that I'm getting 5 to 6.
Mm.
But I feel like the people who have seen me in person, their first question is, please so jaya kar, because I've gotten a lot of dark circles. But
Right.
I feel like I am very happy.
Mm.
I would not say I'm lucky, but I think I'm very happy with how my life is going on. There are
I
a
think
lot
that's
of,
what
because
matters,
every,
right?
exactly, and there are a
Mm.
lot of times your personal is going very down the hill, but you have to, just show up with a very smiling face in the meeting or in the
Correct.
event where
Mm.
you're going through a lot of, hurdles in your personal life.
Correct.
But I think when you get such things, you tend to, have faces when you have to not show your bad face in front of the entire world, and you always have to be like, okay, I'm
I'm
fine, I'm
fine.
good, let's just. But I
Correct,
think
correct.
at the same time, now,
Mm.
from the past around 1 to 2 months, I have understood it. I got to understand it a very wrong way, in a very bad way, in a very hard way, I would say, because of I was not having, like, I was having a lot of my health issues. So now I have realized that your health is should be your priority,
Priority.
and
Correct.
then should be your career, which I know which I'll never accept, but I'm trying my best to. So I do go out for a good walk. I go
Mm.
out for run. I make sure that I'm completing my 15,000 steps per day. I'm eating healthy. I'm not ordering my food regularly. I think these
Mm.
small things matter a lot.
Yeah,
But the
correct.
one tip that I would like to give to anybody
Mm.
who's watching this, who is going ahead with n number of things in their life at the same time, actually there are a lot of things. Number one, do not give up. Number two is people gonna say a lot of things. This is something that I've realized now is if you're at your not peak, but if you're achieving something, the level of people who gonna support you will be very less, and the
Yes.
people who gonna say a lot of things to you will be very big.
Correct,
But
correct.
you don't have to do anything. You just have to, you just have to be calm,
Mm.
think that, okay, you know who you are, and you have to keep going, keep going, keep going. Make sure you do not cry in front of anybody. They'll call it a sympathy card. But
Mm.
make sure, even if you kind of cried, the next entire second, you should be all gelled up. You should be all very professional. The next step would be it's a very, a very
Mm.
underrated step, but make a to-do list. Very important. Make a to-do list. Do it.
Okay.
I usually do it one day before, like when I'm sleeping, that tomorrow I have to make sure I do this task.
Okay.
And I also do one thing which everybody should do, which a lot of people don't
Mm.
do, that these tasks should be on my last priority list. That even if
Okay.
I am not getting lot of time, so these are the tasks that I, can cut off, and then I can go ahead in the next day. So
Okay.
these are the few things. And I think the last thing would be talk to your family. Please do that. I At one point I used to talk very less with my family, but I think once I went to the college, I
Mm.
used to talk a lot to my family, even if
Mm.
they did not know 1% of it. But I used to tell them from the scratch so that I have a good time talking with them, because family is something that nobody can replace you. And the amount
Replace.
of joy you
Correct.
would feel after you talk to one of your family members is immeasurable. And I think these are the few things that always keeps me going.
Mm.
And the last thing that I always, when people ask me that why are you, so
Mm.
much about your career, why are you doing a number of things? These things can happen late. Why are you teaching kids? Are you
Mm.
doing it for money?
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, I would like to mention all the
Mm-hmm.
12,000 kids that I have been teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I have not even taken one penny from them.
Oh,
So this is
great.
something I would like to add on. And this is not something I'm doing for my, for my, like economic career or something,
Mm-hmm. Not for
but to
his
be
name.
a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are a lot of other reasons. The one thing only goes behind is, I was never mentored by somebody, and I
Okay.
did not had that one backbone that I could rely on, so I had to do everything from my own. But
Okay.
if still I was able to get to a certain age at the age of 20,
Mm-hmm.
today, because of the world and how fast the world going on, how the dynamics are going of the entire world,
Mm-hmm.
if some person of sixth to seventh grade who's very eager to learn
Mm-hmm.
and who wants to learn something, it's I'm happy to mentor them and show them a guidance. So you know what, you can there are these things. Tell me what do you want to do, and these are the things that you can do in future.
Correct,
There are
correct.
n number of wrong phase kids can go ahead, and
Mm-hmm.
the youth is the future of our world. And
Correct.
to all the people who are watching this, guys, please, if you know anybody who is younger than you, please guide them well. Do not let them go in the wrong direction. So I think that is it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Riya. This is really awesome and inspiring to all of us. And my next question is probably starting to work at an early age is like a coin, right? It has two sides, challenges, benefits. So, what challenges did you face, and what, according to you, are the benefits involved in it? Also, what wise words you have for our viewers who are listening to this podcast regarding the same?
Yeah, I think honestly there are a lot of disadvantages. There are a lot of disadvantages. The first comes up that because of your age, nobody is going to take you seriously. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something nobody is will gonna take whatever you are saying seriously. Nobody gonna make sure that you are taking one of the big clients or taking one of the big things, because they will not they'll not call you that accountable, because you are that what 15 to 16 years of age. And even if you are very creative, they'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, you know what, you are giving this idea, give this idea, we'll take care of it. And you never know who will gonna take the credits. So there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of personal biasness, there's a lot of biasness because of the position that you're in, because of your age, because of what credibility you are coming across with. And the one thing that I, as a person, I've faced was to balance a lot of things. In the starting, I was having a lot of issues how I'll have to deal with all of things at the same place, because I
Mm-hmm.
was also preparing for the entrance of my college entrances.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also working in my dad's firm. Then I was on my way of starting my entire MUN journey. I'm a person who um, I was a person who
Mm-hmm.
actually I'm a person teaching a lot of kids, so I used to teach a lot of kids at the same time. And at the same time, I had to complete all my assignments, all my files, all my
Exactly. Mm.
tuitions, because
You
I am
cannot
not
compromise
learning,
on that as well.
it's exactly. I'm not
Mm.
learning the three rules of accounts in my office. I have to make sure that I am, making all the charts of accounts, learning the Indian economy, that what were the rules. Because in the exam,
Yeah.
I have certain criteria. So I have to go to
Mm-hmm.
tuitions and all, very active. So it was very tough to learn how to balance things. I'm
Correct.
still learning that, because nobody is perfect. You get your
Mm-hmm.
best at that time. And I think
Mm-hmm.
one of the plus points that were
Mm-hmm.
is the number of experience of years that I hold right now, and the amount of things that I have learned, because I have
Mm-hmm.
been grilled so much in my upcoming years as well. So
Right.
now I know that when I will be entering the actual MNCs after my MBA for that matter, or
Mm-hmm.
whenever I'm planning to go ahead the corporate and leaving my dad's
Mm-hmm.
home, I think at that particular time, I will have a fair share of knowledge of how the market works, of how the entire firm works, how the department works. as compared to the other people who will have no clue. So I think you get an edge over that. So
Mm.
I think you have everything. It's a side of a coin. You have your pros, you have your cons, but the only thing is you have to keep going because there is no other
Other
option
way
left.
around.
Either you can, yeah, you can go binge watch Netflix series and you
Mm.
can cry and then sleep, or you can just work hard on yourself. And I choose the latter one because that's gonna help me in the future
That's
for
wiser,
sure.
yeah. So, Ria, my last question for you is you are a marketing club head. I want you to explain few marketing strategies using these songs, okay? Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, Sorry by Justin Bieber, and Bad Liar by Selena Gomez.
Okay, so actually, I would like to add a few more songs to that because there are a lot of people who might not have heard few of the songs. So
Okay.
I think, okay, so I'll give a backstory to all the listeners why
Mm.
Apeksha has asked this question. So I made a LinkedIn post about that. So it was,
Yes,
I've already
yes.
scheduled a LinkedIn post that around, it was around 4 a.m. in the morning, and my LinkedIn
Mm.
post had to go out at 8:30 in the morning.
Mm.
So, and as you all already have known that I only sleep 3 hours. So I was going to sleep that, okay, I'll wake up at 8, I'll have my post in the end. I was listening to this one song,
Mm.
Blank Space by Taylor Swift. Very,
Yes. Mm.
everybody has heard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recognize that,
Mm.
there is something marketing in it. And I'm a person who sees marketing everywhere, everywhere. You name a thing, I'll see the marketing. Because I just love marketing, and
Mm.
I loved how Taylor used the entire storytelling concept. And we all know that how important storytelling is for
Mm.
customers and for marketers, for a brand to connect their customers with their brand. So
Correct.
I'll give you another example. The last weekend, I went to
Mm.
this this meetup slash
Mm.
Bharat Renault, this one event.
Mm.
And there was this one person who said a very beautiful line. The influencer name is Ayushman Pandita.
Okay.
And he makes amazing content on Instagram. You guys can check him out. And he said one thing that, and he has a reel as well. And he says that, Bharat में, I would like to quote in Hindi, भारत में
Mm.
story बहुत बिकती है. Because
Mm.
the amount of, सबने यहाँ पे शार्क टैंक देखा होगा, the amount of
Mm.
time शार्क टैंक इंडिया में स्टोरी टेलिंग पे दिया जाता है, राइट फ्रॉम द बिहाइंड, कि आप किस बैकग्राउंड से आते हो, आप दोनों में रिलेशन क्या है, हाउ यू स्टार्टेड दिस, इसकी
Mm.
पूरी बैक स्टोरी बताओ, नाम की बैक स्टोरी बताओ. सो द
Mm.
एंटायर उस पूरी की पूरी जर्नी पे आपको अगर वो 15 मिनट का एपिसोड दिख रहा है, सो 10 मिनट्स का एपिसोड वहीं पे दिखा देगा. देन these guys show the actual 5 minutes of equity share and all the financial topics and all.
Yeah.
As comparatively to the Shark Tank, which are off the abroad. So storytelling is something that connects with the customers more, and there might be a chance आपको, ठीक है, अगर आप किसी से बात भी करते हो, अगर एक पर्सन
Mm.
आपको स्टोरी सुनाएगा, आपको वो स्टोरी जिंदगी भर याद रहेगी,
Yeah. Then.
चाहे पर्सन का नाम जरूर भूल जाओ. So I think that storytelling is very important, and the entire song was about how Taylor describes the entire song via storytelling. Storytelling for a brand should be very important. You must have seen, there was this one ad, I forgot which brand it was, but it was, I think, some services brand where the person is traveling from mountains, and there are a lot of blind students who are
Okay.
sitting and waiting for the person to come and check and correct the entire TV system and all.
Mm.
And then it touched my heart that the entire storytelling that भैया कब आओगे, we are waiting. And वो
Mm.
आकर देखता है that all the students are blind. They are waiting
Oh.
for their friends to watch on their show. So I think
Mm.
the emotional connect that you get from storytelling, nobody will goes ahead with. Like how Maggie came up with. Maggie की first advertisement देखोगे till the end, अभी तक अगर आप Maggie की सारी advertisements देखोगे, उसमें it's like 2 मिनट में Maggie, and there's a family oriented thing that goes ahead. आप
Mm.
कैडबरी का सेलिब्रेशन का डब्बा उठाकर देखो. Whenever you see any Cadbury ad, they'll be like celebrating the love. They are
Yes.
celebrating their family. They are celebrating emotions. So कभी भी हम सोचेंगे कि, and the way of the tagline that they goes ahead with is कुछ करने से पहले मीठा हो जाए, कुछ कुछ अच्छी
Mm.
चीज से पहले. Whenever we think
Right,
of
right.
something acha, we will suddenly remember of their brands. So
Hmm.
all these things mattered a lot. There was also, there was this one song I even mentioned in the post is
Hmm.
"We Are Never Getting Back Together."
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
again Taylor Swift. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan.
yeah.
So the
Same
entire
here.
song goes ahead with
Hmm.
is you should that's lovely. We should always know when to leave a client. So,
Hmm.
great. Again, I'm relating it with marketing. It always says that your 80% of the revenue should come from that 20% of your clients. And you
Plants.
are exactly a great brand if your reputation rate is great. If the
Hmm.
person is repeating from your brand, it means you are going ahead with a great value for the customers. And the
Right.
best thing is if you're going ahead with a great value to the customers word of mouth itself become a marketing.
Yeah.
आप अगर if suppose you are sitting in a crowd of 10 people and your friend comes up and say यार प्यूमा के जूते खरीदे बहुत बढ़िया आए हैं,
Hmm.
you not even trying Jordans, you be like नहीं यार प्यूमा उसने बोले थे प्यूमा अच्छे रहेंगे, प्यूमा अगर मैं
Hmm.
पैसा खर्च कर रहा हूँ, why should I go ahead with something that I don't have the actual reviews on.
Correct,
So
correct.
you should know when to say no to the clients if that person is taking long, if that person is going ahead with long of duos, and that person is going ahead with less number of amount, and you should always know your value. That okay, this is something that services that I offer, and you should always cut down your expenses to 30%. That has worked well for me and worked well for my entire finances. And I even heard a lot of creators who say that I the max I can go is cutting down to 30% of my entire thing that I ask for,
Hmm.
because it goes ahead with something. So I think you should sometimes leave the clients who are not
Hmm.
working out for you, stay focused on the big clients that are working.
Hmm.
So I think these are the few things that I've learned from all these songs. And there's another, you mentioned the Sorry from Justin Bieber. So I think it was very funny to to think about it. I related to it. That you should be very transferable towards your customers. If you have
Okay.
had a mistake, just tell them. If you
Hmm.
haven't had a mistake with your clients, tell them. You should be very clear to what your company's strategy is, what
Hmm.
you are offering to the customers, what customers want. So I think this is pretty much about marketing. And if you all will open your eyes and see that everything you see about brand, everything really is related to marketing. Everything is
Yes,
related
yes.
about customers and everything. So I think that would answer your question.
Correct, correct. Okay, so here my questions end. Ria, it was wonderful talking to you, and I'm sure this is going to be very helpful to our viewers watching this podcast. Thank you so much once again, Ria. Really had a good time.
Thank you, Apeksha, for having me here. I think it was
Absolutely.
one of the meaningful conversations I had. And you guys can watch this video. You guys can follow me on my LinkedIn. It's by Riya Gadhwal. And if you have any question, you can DM me anytime on my LinkedIn and I would be happy to answer to all the questions. Thanks, Apeksha, again for having me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.